Happy Monday. Donnie Baker here from LPR Sound Foundations. We are in our Weird Gear Chronicles series. Today, I want to share with you the DBX 166 compressor. This compressor is old, but it is awesome. And if you're ready to go listen to some stuff about the 166, let's go. Hey, today we are talking about the DBX 166. This is the Weird Hardware Gear Tour series at LPR Sound Foundations. My name is Donnie Baker, and I'm happy to bring this to you. Now, the DBX 166 is a two-channel dynamics processor, probably around the 1980s, the middle 1980s. I think mine is from 1986, 1987. And I looked around today, and I found one on Reverb for $100. This is pretty much the going rate for these things. I've seen them on Craigslist. I've even seen them at Guitar Center used, Sweetwater used. $100, $150, you're into some vintagey sounding outboard gear. And let's take a look at some of the controls on the DBX 166. We have a simple gate. It's got a threshold. It's not, you can set it and get it in a good place. I actually use this when I record drums. I use the DBX 166 for toms. If we've got a rack tom and a floor tom, it's perfect because I've got one in this room, I've got one in my other room. But I like to use the gate on these so that I don't get a lot of bleed into the tom mics, and it works pretty well. I do end up having to do a little bit more editing when we do that anyway. But it's only got a fast and slow release. There's not really a lot of control on the release of the gate. It's either fast or slow. So in the examples I'm going to show you, I did use the gate on the vocals. When we get to that, I'll explain it to you. The compressor is called an over easy compressor. There's a threshold and a ratio, and that's pretty much the only controls that you have for your compressor, but it seems to work really well. I mean, there's no attack and release on this. You just have to go with the threshold and the ratio, but you can pretty much dial it in, and it sounds great. This is the gain reduction LED. You can see how much of a reduction you're getting on your gain. The peak stop level, and we're going to talk a little bit about this when we get to the bass example. I did use this on the bass example. I did use it on the guitar example. What this does is the peak stop level sends the signal back in after all the processes, even after the output gain. It sends it back in and allows you to distort it. And this is what I did use on the bass example. We'll hear this in a minute. The sidechain monitor. Now, I did use this when we get to the vocals. I sidechained in an EQ because the vocals had some, basically had some kick drum in the vocals. And I did sidechain an EQ to that to get rid of everything below 50 hertz so you can't hear the kick drum in there. The output gain, of course, is an output gain, exactly what it says, and a bypass button. So you could, bypass in, bypass out, see what you're doing. Now, the stereo couple is what we're going to use on the, when we get to the master. We used it on the drum bus, and we got to it on the master bus as well. Now, what this does, it links the two channels together and allows you to control both channels from the left channel there, channel number one. So you can run, stereo. Hey, we'll get back to the episode in just a minute. I wanted to let you know that I've updated the studio growth formula for 2024. Just go to learnprorecording.com/studio growth formula. Download this quick PDF. This is a 7-step checklist that can help you build, grow, and scale your audio engineering, music production, studio business into something that could possibly take over your day job. So go get it. It's at learnprorecording.com/studio growth formula. We'll see you on the other side. Now let's get back to the episode. Let's check out what the DBX 166 can do to our drums. This is just the drum bus. No bypassing. Can definitely hear that compressor working. It's back in. How about the bass? Let's see what it can do to the bass. This definitely has that the peak stop level on the bass. You can hear the crunch. Let me bypass it. you can definitely hear that peak stop level, what it's doing to the crunch on the bass. It's awesome, by the way. You can overdo it. I mean, I'm not doing too much of it. I think I had the peak stop level at like 5 on this one. Back in. Okay. How about guitar? Let's see what it'll do on the guitar here. Definitely hitting a little too hard on the peak stop level, but let's bypass it. That's bypassed. Let's put it back in. Hear that? Hear the crunch on the peak stop when I put it back in. Yeah. Okay. Might be just a little bit too much on that output gain on that one, so. Let's see what it does to vocals.
So lonely, babe.
I am using the gate.
A good time.
I am using the gate on these. You can tell. I got it on a slow release rate.
You've been gone.
There's a lot of headphone bleed on these.
Time.
There's a ton of headphone bleed on these vocals. But this really helps out.
So
Bypass it.
Lonely, baby.
So now you can hear definitely hear the headphone bleed.
Yeah. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good
Put it back in.
So lonely, baby. But I had me a good time. Yeah. Since you've been
I did
gone,
also
all I have is a good time.
I did also sidechain in an EQ to get rid of some low frequencies that were in the headphone bleed.
You broke my wings.
So you can't hear it on this
Yet
one.
I have a good time.
How about the whole mix?
You're so lonely, babe. But I had me a good time. Yeah. Since you've been gone,
It's just on the master bus.
all I have is a good time. You broke my wings.
Bypass.
So lonely, babe. But I had me a good time.
I like it on the master bus. It feels good. Gives it some warmth that we're not getting without it.
All I have is a good time.
Let's put it back in.
So lonely, babe. But I had me a good time. Yeah. Since you've been gone, all I have is a good time. You broke my wings, yet I have a good time.
So that was the DBX 166. Like I said, mine's from the middle 80s, probably 1985, 1987. I think it sounds awesome. It really does something it really does something to the sound. I don't know if you could hear it, with YouTube, and if you listen on your phone, you're definitely not going to hear it. Check it out on your, if you get around a studio, check it out on some good studio monitors. It's not awesome. It's not the greatest, but it's $100. I mean, come on, you're coming out, you're touching some analog, and you're coming back in. Anytime you can do that with a DAW, it's going to make your life so much better. And it looks cool in the rack. You should start building your rack. Start finding these cheap things. It's $100, man. Put some toys in your rack. Make it look cool. Eventually, you're gonna have to get a patch bay. So there's that. Maybe we're gonna do a video on wiring a patch bay. Maybe we'll do that after this series. I'll run you through wiring my patch bay. We'll see what's coming up. So I do want to remind you about my updated studio growth formula for 2024. Go grab it, man. It's learnprorecording.com/studio growth formula. This is a 7-step quick PDF that's going to help you build, grow, and scale your studio into something that could possibly take over your day job money. You never know, man. Would you rather do this for a living than, I don't know. Some of us might like our jobs, but some of us love our jobs. If you know what I'm saying. So hey, next week we're going to talk about the Yuri LA4s. Now my Yuri LA4s are from 1977, if I'm not mistaken. We recently had them serviced, so they're sounding pretty good. So check in with us next week. And if you're not subscribed, while you're down there leaving a comment for me, go ahead and like and subscribe, and decide to click that little bell so you get notified for when the next video comes up with the Yuri LA4s. We will see you next week on the podcast. I'll see you guys on Wednesday on the blog post. My name is Donnie B. I am out of here. Peace.